Let's break it down with Hand of the Week.
Welcome to Hand of the Week, where we dive into listener-submitted hands each week. Patrick, our resident fish, and I tackle everything from questionable bluffs to hero calls and the hands that make you scratch your head. Whether you're looking for strategy tips or just want to see if you'd play it better, we've got you covered. Patrick, welcome back.
That about sums up our poker games, doesn't it? I mean, in the shortest words possible, that sums up all of our poker lives. So,
yeah, it's we get so many people that are like, well, this I would have you thought about playing it this way or played it that way or whatever too. So, we have a hand of the week this week sent in by Jordan Moody. And
all right.
We're going to be playing 1-2 this week at a local casino. He says, I play this game at my local casino every Tuesday with pretty much the same group. We're going to be on the button, and we have just over $200 in our stack. The small blind has over 500, and the big blind has around 300. And it folds to us. We have the King of Diamonds, 9 of Diamonds.
King of Diamonds, 9 of Diamonds. I like it.
I don't love it, but I like it.
Well, I said I like it.
Yeah.
I don't. Here's my difference. If I like it, we're probably going, and it's worthwhile to play seeding, all that good stuff. That's where we've talked about in the weeks past. For those who have listened, what we're talking about. For those who have not, kind of where our first bet number is, right? If I love something, I'm going to 4-bet. If I like it, I'm probably going to 3-bet.
Okay. So if you like it, you're going to go
like it
3 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here I'm going $6.
$6. Okay. Yep. If we were playing this from early position, if we were under the gun, I'd say just get rid of this. But it folds to us, and we're on the button. So I'm definitely going to raise. I think I wouldn't even have to look at my cards. If it's folding to me on the button, I'm going to raise. And it will be profitable most of the time. But I'm just going to make it 5. Just an even 5.
Okay.
So 2.5 times.
Okay, fair enough.
Let's see. Jordan actually makes it 5 as well. So we're on the same page.
Smart guy.
The small blind raises to 25. And the big blind folds.
Well, I know what you're going to do.
Do you now?
You're going to take those cards and you're going to push them into the middle.
It was leaning that way, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I love to be suited. It would be better if it had the ace, but King's pretty high. Again, and this is, call it just a public service announcement for all of our listeners that send these in. We love you to death, and please continue to do so because it helps us and all of everyone that listens. But in this instance, my first question is that normal? But I guess that's a 5 times raise. So I guess that's not. If you're playing with this group all the time, is that something that's, part of the norm?
Right.
Add that in, add any insight that you guys can in. It'll help us, play these hands and break it down for you. But I guess in this instance, it's not really out of any norm necessarily. We're going to be heads up. I like King 9 suited. I might call this.
Okay. I think that, to your point, if I'm the type of player that I am, right, raising from the button every time it folds to me, if they've picked up on that, then they're probably going to do something like this where they would raise with weaker cards. But I don't know. We don't know. And so with no reads on the player, you're right. I'm going to let it go. mostly because we have to call $20, right? Which
Yep.
the best we can win is about 200. So risk reward, I'm not sure that I want to go $20 here. With King Nine,
that's
with
fair.
King Nine of Diamonds. So
would it change, just so for my knowledge base, would it change if you had the ace
if I had
with diamonds?
Ace King of Diamonds or
No,
Ace
well,
Nine of Diamonds?
Ace nine.
Maybe, yeah.
Would you at least see the flop to call this?
Maybe, yeah. It would probably
It'd make it easier, that's for sure.
Yeah, it would still be a tough call. I mean, if they're raising us, how strong do we think they are? Can they be doing that with small pocket pairs, or maybe they have a decent ace? And if they have a decent ace, then our 9 doesn't look great. So So I don't know. Again, player dependent. I could still lay down Ace 9 of Diamonds as well.
Because I mean, right now with that kind of raise, not any player raise like you said. I mean, Ace King, big pocket pair, aces, kings, queens, jacks are all within the realm of possibility with that kind of bet. So, yeah, I mean, I could call this. I think my gut would probably say ultimately that I would probably throw this away now.
Well, Jordan makes the call. So there's going to be $52 in the pot. And the flop is the Queen of Spades, Jack of Diamonds, 8 of Clubs. So we've got a gutter anyway. We've got a 10 would be real nice.
10 would be very, very nice.
The small blind continues for $15.
So what is that, about
quarter?
A third?
Yeah, third.
Quarter, between a quarter and a third.
It's not a lot.
It's not a lot. It's obviously playing this with Jordan. I probably call 15.
Yeah, it's almost like they're inviting us into the pot, though, isn't it?
Correct. It is. They're setting you up for it. And I guess in this instance, I'm not going to go any bigger. There's no point.
Right.
He's leading into us. Let him lead if you want to play.
Yeah, I just call for sure.
Yeah.
We've got a gutter that I'm okay with continuing 15 to see if we can get our 10. We've got an over to the board as well. So Jordan also calls, which makes the pot $82.
Yeah.
And the turn is the King of Clubs. Once again, the small blind bets. This time it's closer to like half pot size with a $40 bet. So the board is the Queen of Spades, Jack of Diamonds, 8 of Clubs, King of Clubs, and we have the King 9 of Diamonds.
I mean, again, I go back to my original thought with that $25 raise that the small blind came into us. That's an ace, king, aces, kings, queens, jacks. And in all those cases, they've got us beat. If they have ace, king, they've got us beat. If they've got ace, well, I guess ace, queen, they wouldn't have us beat right now. But if they've got aces or kings or queens or jacks, they've got their set. So I think you fold. I think you've seen enough.
Yeah, ace king. If they have ace king, then our 10 is no longer an out for us.
Correct. Bigger straight.
I don't think they have 10-9 here. Just I don't think they would have raised us pre-flop with 10-9. Especially, I don't think they have it with us having one of the nines already. Yeah. And they would have flopped the straight. They wouldn't, so still have a pair with a gutter. Yeah, that ace king kind of scares me.
Yeah, the ace king scares me. So we're in for what? So 25, 15 is 40. Another 40 called here is 80. We're into pretty much half our stack at a minimum to see.
Yeah, I was just thinking it was probably 30%. Maybe it's a little more than that even. Yeah. So
it's actually like 40, 45-ish, close to 45-ish. So yeah, I guess I can't see of any other what they're holding that makes me feel better that we have. I mean, king, queen, they've got us. King, jack, they've got us. Queen, jack, they've got us. Queens, jacks. I mean, then
yeah,
everything that screams at $25 race says they got us.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot there that we have that beats what they could. There's not a whole lot there that they could have that we can beat. Yeah, it's either call or fold. You're definitely not raising, and I'm with you. I probably fold here as well. I can see making the call, see where we go, and that's what Jordan does. I don't think it's a terrible play, but I probably would have let it go. But Jordan does make the call, and the pot is 162 now. And we have less than a pot size bet now. The river is the ace of diamonds. This time the small blind checks.
Checks.
Yeah.
Just setting us up for So let me get this. Let me make sure. So board is queen of spades, jack of diamonds, 8 of clubs, king of clubs, ace of diamonds.
Yeah.
No flushes on the board. Obviously, if he's got a 10, then he's got it. We don't. We have a pair of kings.
Can we represent the 10, though?
Not now. Well,
here's the question, actually. The question.
We could, I guess, actually.
Do we get better hands to fold? And do we get...
It depends on what better hand, I guess. I mean, 2 pair, yes. I mean, if he was sitting on ace king, then you maybe...
It's borderline, right? But it may be the only way we win at this point.
I think we're going to go back on this here in a few minutes, and we're going to say the only way we win is by getting out of this pot when that $25 raise came. That being said, we're in this with you, Jordan. I'd love to know if there was a buyback.
I mean, we're playing cash, so we can.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. All right, you're right. Let's ride. I mean, I see your point, and that's what we're all probably sitting out here thinking is okay. Well, could we represent it? And I guess we could.
The question is, if we go for it and we try to represent the 10 by going all in, do we get a hand like ace king or queen jack to fold?
I think at the very least you get him to really think.
We definitely put the pressure on him for sure.
Yep.
I definitely don't think they have a 10 with that check. Originally I was thinking, they could have a 10, but with that check, I don't think they have a 10. I really think with the way that it played out, queen jack makes a lot of sense. Ace king makes a lot of sense. So,
or king queen. I'm thinking less of the ace. I'm thinking he doesn't have an ace now. I'm thinking like king, queen, jack. The only problem is, what if he's holding queens in his hand or jacks in his hand?
What if he has ace jack? Ace jack makes sense to me too.
Yeah, but why check then? Just to let
because
us.
of the 10.
Yeah, I get it.
You check.
Fair.
You can check with the intention to call, or you can check to see what we do.
Yeah.
Um,
Because the straight is now out there. Yeah, I mean, even more than it started with. Yeah, let me ask you this. My gut is saying, okay, well, if we're going to try to represent that 10, which we probably could at this point, nothing short of shoving is going to do
correct. It's a shove. It's a point. Shove or a check.
Yeah.
And I think my answer is full to shove.
You have folded this hand twice, and now you want to shove.
Look, I got here. And I'm going to represent
Let's be frank.
it.
Jordan got us here. He's ready to represent it.
That's a fair point. Jordan did get us here, and so I think, Jordan, you should, if you've made it this far, put it in.
Shove them in.
I
proudly.
would not have made it this far, to be fair. But now that you're here, I'm going to risk all of your chips.
Consultant Joe here. All right, well, what's our friend do? Tell me he shoves.
Jordan says, I check because I think I only get called by hands that beat me. The small blind turns over queen jack. He says, I feel like you're going to say I should have folded this one pre-flop.
Yes.
But should I have folded on the turn once I made my king as well?
Yes.
Well, I did say I would fold
and
pre-flop.
Then you should have shoved.
Right.
The answers to your questions are: should I have folded pre-flop? Probably. Should I have folded after the flop? Probably. If I made it to the king, to the turn and the king, probably. But then you made it.
Yeah.
Shove those bad boys in, and that was the scenario. That's 100% why that guy checked, is because he's got top two pair on the flop. He still has two pair coming in the turn, and then the ace comes out, and he's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And you should have just filled that oh, shit void with all the rest of your chips.
Yeah.
I don't know that it would have taken it down. I really don't.
It's possible.
But I think you would have had it would have been a great call on that guy's half to do it.
Yeah, and it's definitely possible that they call anyway and we lose our whole stack. But I would still feel good about taking that shot. Like I feel like that's the move if you're there.
Yeah.
And yes, I did say I would fold pre-flop to that raise. I think that the hand could have been salvageable. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it was salvageable. Maybe it was one of those where you're like, well, I could have saved some money. But I think the shove on the river is the right play. I also think folding pre-flop is not a bad play either. And on the turn, I feel like to me, the turn is more of a questionable spot than pre-flop. Because we made our pair, but they have so much out there that can beat us. So I think what I'm saying is I think that I would agree with the call pre-flop more than the call on the turn.
Correct.
So
yeah, I would agree with that one. Yeah, when the king comes out on the turn, great, we paired up, but there are so many scenarios out there in that case that still have us.
Yeah.
Again, you live and learn. but I think there's a couple of chances to fold that one before you got to where you were.
Yep.
But then when you get there, shove it.
Yeah, I think that's the right play, is to shove at the end.
Really flipped it right then and there.
And then all of the other questions are moot.
Yeah, at the end of that, you shove and he, folds it and asks, to show one of your cards, and you say no thanks, and you don't know anything. or you show him a 9 just to be that guy.
Right. That's absolutely. You've been playing with me long enough to know that's exactly what I would do. I'd be like, I mean,
yeah,
I had 10-9.
Yeah. My name's Patrick. I had 2.
All right. Well, Jordan, I really appreciate you sending that in and calling me out on telling you how you would play that hand.
Yeah, I mean, that was spot on because it was literally what you said. Yeah, Jordan, thank you for that one.
And
hope the rest of that game went well for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And if anybody has a hand of the week that they would like to see how Patrick and I would break it down, send it to podcast@aniapmagazine.com. We'll see you next week.